you ready to get on the hot seat with Wally George? Hang on for the wildest, most controversial talk show on television, featuring enthusiastic participation from our live studio audience and interviews with provocative newsmaker guests. And now, here he is, that hard-hitting, award-winning, conservative voice of television, Wally George!
Thank you very much. Great crowd. How are you, gang? Oh, yeah.
We're off and rolling.
We have a wild show tonight, I'll tell you. And welcome all across America. This is the show that tells it the way it is. On tonight's program, we have a Looney Tune who's going to be coming up to debate me on whether we should trust the Russians, huh? Hey, believe it or not, he says we should trust the Russians. And then we also have a female mud wrestler. Yes, Renee Vickery is back, and she says she has a challenge for me.
What could it possibly be?
What kind of challenge could she have for me, right?
Well, we'll see.
And I understand she also has been saying that I have no credibility. Well, we'll get to our guests in a few minutes, but right now, it's time to introduce our great crew. And in the booth, as always, the dynamic, the bombastic Brian Lockwood. Our internationally famous floor director, our own hot seat sex symbol, Oscar. And our great producer, Mary Pisano. And, of course, the one, the only, David Kennedy. Well, David, hold it down. David, we really are going to have a raucous show tonight.
This may be the most exciting one yet.
This may be it.
It may be.
And David, it's very exciting for us in our third year now to be growing.
Third year.
All across America, gang. And David, it's so great to be in cities like Miami, Florida, and Chicago, Illinois, right?
And Boston, Massachusetts.
And Boston, right. Okay. Okay, now it is time to get into our commentary of the night, and it's an important one, so let's hold it down. There is a scandal in this country, and nobody seems to want to do anything about it. Some would like to sweep the whole thing under the rug, and others want to pretend it doesn't exist. Well, my friends, it does exist, and we've got to bring it out in the open, and we've got to correct this problem. I'm talking about abuse of the elderly all across this country. We've got to do something, don't we? Yeah! All right. Now, statistics show that 1 out of every 25 elderly people in America are brutally abused. Some of the elderly are beaten and mistreated by members of their own families. But the big problem lies in the rest homes and the sanitariums for the elderly. Investigations are now showing that many so-called rest homes in America treat their elderly patients like animals. What do you think of that? Right. Now, in the National Parade magazine and other national publications, it is revealed that some residents of these rest homes are, now get this, are chained to their beds. What do you think of that? They are starved and drugged so they won't be too much trouble for the attendants. Now, many are left to lie in filthy pajamas on equally filthy, rotten beds for days and weeks, and the stench becomes unbearable. And if any of the patients there, any of the residents complains, they get slapped around by sadistic employees. Now, this is not a script from a horror movie that you're hearing, my friends. This is reality, and we are closing our eyes to it. That's wrong, isn't it? I say the elderly of this country deserve better. They cannot and must not be tossed aside like unwanted garbage. It's time to know that we must not allow our parents and grandparents to end their lives in such a terrifying and sickening way. It is time to launch massive investigations into rest homes and sanitariums all across this nation. It's time for us to stand up and fight for those in this country, those citizens who have served their families and their countries well for a long, long lifetime. They must not be kicked aside. Remember, every one of you, think of this. One day, in the not too distant future, you and I are going to be the elderly citizens of America. Think about it. I'll be right back.
Weeknights spend the...
Okay. Now we're going to get to some questions from our audience out here, our great audience. But right now it's time for the mailbag. Now here's a note from a guy who signs himself Toby.
Toby or not Toby?
He says, Wally, I resent your stupid big mouth.
Enough of Toby.
Let me tell you, I resent your stupid letter, moron. Get out of here. All right, here's a letter from Eric, and he says, what is this? He says, Dear Wally, you really ruffle my feathers.
What is he, a chicken?
And
There is none.
And Eric sends along a feather. Hey, Eric, I'm going to send this back to you, and you know what you can do with this feather, don't you? Boy, that'll be the most fun he's had in weeks, I'll bet. And then,
Should be tickled about that.
and then here's a guy who sends me a postcard. He signs it T. Fitzgerald. This guy's a real comic, you know. He says, Wally, I was browsing through a card shop, and by my surprise and amazement, I found your picture on a postcard, and so I sent it to you. There it is. And great. Take a picture of that.
Not bad.
It's a picture of a skunk. Can you believe that? Hey, let me tell you something, pal. I'm sure you're the David Letterman on your block. Get out of here. And finally, here's a good one. Here's a good one that comes from a guy named John Huffman, and I like this one, David. This is a good one.
Okay.
It says, Dear Wally, the past 2 years of Hot Seat has brought us the best shows on television. Yeah.
Put that one away.
Now, we're going to go to the ice in a moment, but David, you had some comments on my opening remarks that you wanted to say.
I think you touched on a very sensitive nerve in America there, and you did it very tastefully. You did it well.
I'll tear it, okay? Yeah. Thank you, David. And now we're going to go to the audience, and oh my gosh, come on up here.
I don't believe this one.
Okay, now sit down. Hold it.
I'm Dave from Long Beach.
All right, now what's your question?
Well, I'm not too hip about this workfare bit about me having to go out to work for my welfare check, but I was just wondering what you kind of think about it.
Well, I'll tell you what I think. You're out of here. Hey, I'm not too hip about workfare.
I don't imagine he is.
Boy, that's our first mental case so far. All right,
Work is a real
hold
inconvenience.
it down. Hold it. Okay, hey, pal, I admire your T-shirt.
like this?
Thank you very much.
It's paid for, too.
Thank you. Can I have your name?
My name's Jim.
Yes,
from
Jim.
Chino Hills. And I've got a question, Wally, for you and Dave and Bond Security. It deals with world economics.
Okay.
And my question's this. I'm very concerned about a lot of the controversy that's bouncing around in Washington, D.C. about trade between the United States and Japan.
Okay.
And that there's not equal parity. What's your and Dave's status and your opinion on parity between U.S. and Japan trade?
Well, I'm sure David will agree with me, and I think anybody who has any sense agrees with me, that Japan has got to realize that when that trade is a two-way street, and they've been playing it all their way, and it's time that we sent the message to Japan that they have got to start playing fair, or there's going to be a trade war, and we're going to win it. Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes.
Hi, Wally. My name's Chris from Fullerton.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to bring this to your attention, Wally. There's a professional wrestler today. Wrestler's name is Nikolai Volkov. He starts his rounds by singing the Soviet Union national anthem. I want to know what you have to say about that.
He's just another sick actor, right? Get out of here. Yes. I mean.
Cool it. This isn't the mud wrestler.
Okay. Yes. Hold it down. Hold it. Shh. Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sandy from Cronin.
Hi, Sandy. Hold it. Yes, Sandy.
And I'm wondering what you think about the California State Lottery.
Well, listen, it's happening now in California, and it's happening all across this nation of ours. And you know what? When it first came out here in California, our governor, Duke Majan, was against it. And I've always liked the governor, but I'm for it. I think lotteries are great. Yeah! Thank you very much. I mean, there's nothing wrong with lotteries. It brings money into the states, and you can become a millionaire. Let's go. Yes, real fast. Yeah.
I'm Dave from Irvine. I was wondering
Dave.
what you think of Live Aid and sending money to Africa when there's people starving right here in our own country.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm in favor of what they did. They did a very good thing with Live Aid, and of course, they're sending the money to Ethiopia. But some people now, I understand, in this business are making livings out of running charitable organizations. And I think that's wrong, and we got to make sure that the money money raised really gets to the starving people. I'll be right back. Thank you very much, and welcome back to Hot Seat. And of course, you know, here's where the action is. And David, speaking of action, let's get started with our show. And who's our first guest tonight?
Okay, first on the hot seat tonight, Wally, and I'm not sure exactly what he is, but it's Rodney Brunlinger, who says we can trust the Russians.
Oh.
No, we can't trust the Russians. We can't trust Americans or the Russians. They're hoodlums and thugs and partners in crime together.
You cannot talk about the Russians and America in the same breath. We are honest. We are peace-loving. The Russians are indeed an evil empire.
We're so honest that we make treaties for hundreds of years with the Indians and slaughter them and ship them off the deserts and invade Mexico. And invade Mexico and rip them off a three-quarter of their country and break treaty after treaty after treaty with countries like that until we have what we have.
We are talking about the Soviet Union, and you talk about treaties. Every time the Russians make a treaty with us, they break it. Their philosophy, according to Khrushchev, is, and he said this publicly, Khrushchev said, treaties are made to be broken. And I'll tell you this.
Tell me, Wally.
This is really unbelievable. He likes to call himself, believe it or not, a radical realist.
Radical art.
Obviously, he doesn't even know what realism means, right?
Realism is they've got 50,000 nuclear bombs. 50,000 of them. They're going to toast you guys.
Look at me. You're not talking to them. You're talking to me.
And they're going to toast everybody, and that's realism, guy. That's realism. 50,000 of them.
Hey, Rodney, the realism is that the Soviet Union is absolutely out to conquer the entire free world. I wish instead of you criticizing our country and calling us all kinds of ridiculous things.
They both are.
Oh, come on. You can't compare us to the Soviet Union.
Wally, why did we send disease-infested blankets to the Indians?
Oh,
why did we?
Out of here.
Hey, we scalped them first. Hey. They're both monsters.
Brunlinger.
We're monsters for sending that plane over to get shot down, and they're monsters shoot down.
Talk to me, Brunlinger.
Reagan had no business sending it 200 miles inland. Are you telling me that pilot? I've been in a plane, Wally, and so have you. You know when you're over.
What plane are you talking about?
The Korean plane that was shot down by the Russians. It was, when you're in a plane, you know whether you're over water or landmass. They were 200 miles inland when they were shot.
Those Russian monsters had no reason.
We had no reason to send them there, Wally.
We did not send them there.
What did Reagan do about it? Nothing. He didn't do nothing. Wally didn't do nothing about it. Reagan doesn't care if we sent the plane over there and it got shot down, and because it was on a spy mission, Reagan didn't do anything about it.
Hold on, nitwit. If you love the Soviet Union so much,
I hate the Soviet Union.
Get the hell over there.
I think the Soviet Union's worse than this
place. You're the one, Berlinger, who keeps...
Brunlinger.
I don't care what your...
George.
Hey, your name is as stupid as your haircut.
Yeah, that's stupid. Hey, if our government's so great, how come things, you know what goes on here in America? The McMartin case, baby rapers, is expired more than 5 years of statute of limitation. You can rape children in this country, and if you can get away with it for 5 years, you are home free.
Now, come on.
We're great.
Hold on.
What about if they were the enemy, would we feed them? We didn't feed Hitler, we didn't feed Mussolini, we didn't feed Tojo. They aren't the enemy, they're hoodlums and thugs and partners in crime together. When they invaded Afghanistan with 200,000 troops and support personnel, tanks, Jimmy Carter had the gall to get on TV and say they caught us by surprise. How could they get past our satellites, which can photograph a cigarette? 200,000. They didn't get us by surprise. They're hoodlums and thugs.
Hold on a minute. Now listen, talk to me, or I'm throwing you out of here. I'll tell you. Now you talk to me.
What about American communists? What about American communists like Red Joe Pine?
Zipper your lips. Zipper your lips. I'm telling you this. You came on this program because you wrote me a long letter saying that we should trust the Soviet Union and that they would make an honest deal with them. And I thought you were some kind of nut when you wrote that letter. And now that I look at you, I know you're some kind of a nut.
Hey, Ronald Reagan, our president, trusts the Russians because they have 25,000 nuclear bombs, and right this minute, he trusts them not to launch a first strike because there's not a thing he could do about 25,000 nuclear bombs. Ronald Reagan trusts the Russians.
Ronald Reagan does not trust
the Russians. Sure he does. They got 25,000 nuclear bombs.
No,
he's got to.
No, he does
He's
not.
got to.
Hold on, pal. He does not trust the Russians, and that's why he wants to bring on Star Wars and put a nuclear shield around our country.
He said we'd share it with the Russians in remember in 1984 when he was campaigning, he said we'd share it with them.
Will you talk to me?
Why would he share it with them, Wally?
He did not say he was going to share. He never said that. You're a dirty liar. Now, hold on. Hold on a minute. Let me talk. It's my show, pal.
Yeah, I guess it is.
You know, you wrote to me in this long, stupid letter that we should really listen to the Soviet Union, because if we really listened to them and if we really believed them, we would have peace with the Soviet Union. Now, wait a minute.
Mutual trust is what it's based on, Wally.
There is no mutual trust with the Soviet Union.
We have to trust them. There's 50,000 nuclear bombs. If we don't trust them, we're going to become a glowing piece of dirt in space. Is that what you want?
Now, hold on. Listen to me. We are not going to have peace by believing and trusting those liars.
We're not going to have peace by building more, Wally.
Let me tell you.
MX, Midget Man, Cruise,
hold on.
We build them all.
Star Wars is the answer, isn't it? Let me tell you. You remind me so much of Neville Chamberlain, who was the Prime Minister of England, and he's so much like him. Neville Chamberlain, you may not recall, but some of you at home do. When Adolf Hitler was in power, the people in Britain were scared to death that Hitler was going to come and attack London and bomb England. And so Neville Chamberlain, as Prime Minister, went to meet with Adolf Hitler. And Adolf Hitler assured him that he would never attack England. Neville Chamberlain, being the nitwit like he is, he came home, he went on the air, and he said to his fellow countrymen in England, I believe Adolf Hitler. He does want peace. He has assured us that he will never attack us. And what happened? A few weeks later, the bombs were falling on London.
That's nitpicking, right? That's nitpicking.
Nitpicking?
Hey, listen, if our government is so great, why do they not only make $5 billion from tobacco tax and $100 billion in alcohol tax every 3 years, but they subsidize it. They subsidize the death of tens of thousands of American citizens every year and wage wars on marijuana. How many people has marijuana killed this year? Tobacco and alcohol kills tens of thousands every year, and our government makes money off of them and wages wars on little drugs that the smaller people like.
Hey, Brunlinger, the whole thing we're talking about,
they're monsters.
You're shooting in all different directions. The whole
I'm trying to show our government is legitimate, Wally. They're just as bad as the bad Russians. The Russians are bad too.
Get off my show. not going to have some little punk like that come on my show and try to equate us with the Soviet Union and try to say that we are as bad and as evil as they are. That little nitwit doesn't even know what he's talking about and never will, and he'll never return to my show again. I'll be right back.
Smile.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to Hot Seat. And we want to welcome all of our great stations that are joining us around the country on the Wally Network. Okay. Now we're going to get to our next guest in a moment, but first I want to remind you, we do love to hear from you. Write to us with all your questions and suggestions. I might read your letter on the air here on Hot Seat. Every week we read letters in the mailbag. Write to me, and our address is just Wally George, Hot Seat, P.O. Box 56 TV, Anaheim, California, 92803. That's P.O. Box 56 TV, Anaheim, California, 92803. I want to remind you once again, and we'll remind you again later in the show, I do believe. I want to remind you, if you want to come and visit us, if you're anywhere in America, you want to come down and visit us, you're going to be here in Los Angeles, or anybody in Southern California who wants to come to a taping of our show, just call the numbers on your screen. In the 818 or the 213 area code, it's 464-6111. Leave your name and number, and we'll tell you when you can come down and give you some tickets. The 714 area code, it's 999. 999. One more time, 999. You got it, okay.
Got it.
Now, David, I think we'll introduce our next guest on Hot Seat.
Next visitor to the Hot Seat tonight, Wally. Joe Badami. Joe Badami. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Who is in favor of promoting nudism across America.
Joe.
If you can imagine.
All right, Joe, here you are back with us again, and you're still promoting nudism in America, right, Joe?
That's right.
Can I tell you, and I want to tell you across America, hey, Brian, get a shot of Joe, because here is, I'll tell you, the best argument against nudism I can think of. Can you imagine? Would anybody like to see him nude?
I don't know what that cheer was for.
Joe, I want to know. I know America is dying to know all across this country why in the world you and people like you have to go prancing around naked. Why? What's so great about being totally nude?
Wally, you don't have to go prancing around naked. What we like to do, we like going to these camps. They're family camps.
Hey, hold on. I just got a mental picture of him prancing nude. But why? Why?
I've had a picture of you prancing around for many years, Wally,
Never
but that's
mind.
all right.
Why do you people have to go around totally naked in these nudist camps?
It's just more comfortable, Wally. Much more comfortable without clothes. We were born without clothes. There's so many people in this country that do housework in their nude. They work around the house naked.
Wait
a lot
a
of people
minute.
do
Hold
this.
on. Does anybody here do the housework in the nude?
Now, I heard a lot of yeahs out there and a lot of no's.
I didn't hear any yeses.
Who said yeah? Anybody say yes? One.
No, there was more than one.
One weirdo who you brought with you, right?
No. A lot of people.
Now let me ask you. I'll tell you. If God had meant for us to run around naked, he would never have created CNR clothiers, right?
The way the saying was supposed to be, if God had meant us to run around naked, we would have been born that way.
No, that is not right.
That's the way it was said.
God taught us all to have some kind of modesty. Don't you have any modesty, Joe?
Not about my body, no.
Well, you should have.
No, that's just the opposite. The reason, like you said, I am one of the best examples for nudism, because nudism is not just for the people with the perfect bodies, it's for everyone. You have fat people, you have thin people, you have ugly people, you have good-looking people. Anybody can be a nudist.
But listen, Joe, the whole thing is, only animals run around with nothing on them.
We're part of the animal family.
We are a little above that. We are human beings, and human beings have a sense of modesty. Why do you think Adam wore that fig leaf, right? And listen,
Adam wore the fig leaf after he realized he had sinned, not before.
Well, I think maybe you should wear a fig leaf. Listen, and you probably only need a very small leaf.
Wally, I have asked you in the past shows twice to come out to our camp before you make these accusations, decisions that you want to make. We want you to see our camp with your clothes on. We don't want to see how small you are, so we don't want you. We don't want you to undress, but we would like you to come out to our camp and see what a camp is really like, and then make a decision whether you think it's immoral or not.
I don't have to make a decision. I don't want to walk among you sickos walking around naked. And by the way, do you have children running around naked at that nudist camp?
It's a complete family camp. We've got them from 6 months old. Let me tell you. The difference is the kids are not naked. They're nude. They don't realize they're naked.
Wait a minute.
There's
what
a
do you
big
mean?
difference.
What's the difference?
Nude is the way you're born. You're born nude. There's nothing wrong with being nude. That's why it's a nudist camp. It's not a naked camp.
But the whole thing is, the thing I don't understand is all you are, Joe, is a bunch of exhibitionists. You probably get a big kick out of ogling those pretty women around nude, don't you?
I love looking at the pretty women. I love this bit. I suppose you wouldn't likely have seen a pretty woman naked.
Hey, well, I'm sure they don't like looking at you. So what you're saying is, you nudists do like running around ogling each other in the nude.
No, what we like doing is we like going to a family camp, naked or not. When we're nude, it doesn't make any difference. We like being at the camp at any time, even in the winter. In the winter, everyone's dressed. Nobody gets undressed in the wintertime. We're not exhibitionists.
Well, big deal.
We're only there because in the summertime, it's so much more comfortable to run around without wearing clothes. And you can't do that in public. We wouldn't want to do it in public.
Let me ask you this. What is the difference? Why do you have to expose all of your vital organs? I mean, every single inch of your body does not have to be exposed to the sun. Why in the hell can't you at least wear a little G-string bikini? What's wrong with that?
It's not because we want to be exposed any part of our body to the sun. It is just much more comfortable not wearing clothes, Wally.
I don't believe that. I think you're all a bunch of sickos.
You wear clothes to bed?
What's that?
You wear your clothes to bed?
I wear pajamas. What do you wear?
I don't wear anything to bed. I suppose it's a sin to go to bed naked?
You see, this is the whole thing. All I'm trying to say is this is a country that has some kind of modesty, and you nudists have none. Am I right? Yes, go ahead.
Who would want to see you without your clothes on?
It's not a matter of who wants to see me without clothes on.
Is it because you think you're big or what?
No, it's a matter of the fact that I happen to like not wearing clothes, and I like going to camping on weekends. It's nice going to a campground, any campground, but when you're at most campgrounds, you can't take your clothes off. It's not as comfortable. At these camps, we have all kinds of people out there, and we don't have to wear clothes.
Hey,
if you want to wear clothes, you can.
Let me ask you, Joe, when you're at your camp, your nudist camp, what do you do there? Do you play games, or what do you...
We do the same thing. We do the exact same things we do at our camp that you do at any campground where you see motorhomes parked. We have volleyball tournaments.
Oh, volleyball.
It's to sit down and play volleyball.
Hey, do you also dance?
We dance, yes.
Oh, boy. You dance together in the nude.
Some camps allow you to dance naked. Some do not. Some make you wear clothes when you're dancing. It depends on the camp you're at.
Do you like to dance nude, Joe?
I don't care either way. I enjoy being nude all the time.
Okay, yes.
I want to know, the world's turned real bad, and I don't know how a person like you could just keep corrupting the world by publicity.
Yeah,
nudism.
right.
Let me answer that this way. One thing the nudists are so proud of is throughout the years of nudism, anyone who's been raised in nudism has never been convicted of a felony. Anyone raised from childhood in nudism has never been convicted of a felony because it's such a family-oriented camp.
Well, Joe, let me just wind this up by saying this. I have said it from the beginning, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it to you whenever I see you. We have little bikinis that we can wear to have a little sense of modesty, and no matter what the nudists say, they're exhibitionists, and we should do away with nudism. Welcome back. Now, before we bring on our next guest, David, it's time to tell you, at home, if you'd like to write to us, we love to get your letters, comments, and suggestions. Some of them I read right here on the air, as you know, in my mailbag segment. And if you want information about the official Wally George fan club, how you can get your regular newsletter, an autographed picture, bumper strip, and all that kind of stuff, write to us. Want to hear from you. Our address is just Wally George, Hot Seat, P.O. Box 56 TV, Anaheim, California, 92803. That's Wally George, Hot Seat, P.O. Box 56 TV, Anaheim, California, 92803. Now, if you're going to be visiting here in Southern California from around the country, or if you're already here in Southern California and you want to come down for a taping of our show, we do it every Wednesday night. Just call the numbers on your screen, leave your name and your telephone number and how many tickets you want, and we'll call you as soon as we can and invite you to come down here on a Wednesday night. Isn't it fun? Okay. In the 213 or the 818 area code, you call 464-6111, 464-6111. In the 714 area code, it's 999. 5,000. There we go. 999. 5,000. 999. 5,000. 999. 5,000. One more time. 999. 5,000. Okay, there we go.
They had it right every single time.
Now, David.
Oh, they're good.
Okay. Hold it. And now, David, it's time to bring on our next, and she's back again. Yeah. Go ahead.
Making a return appearance on Hot Seat is all-star mud wrestler Renee Vickery, who says she has a challenge for you. You gonna mud wrestle in that?
Why can't you just walk out like any? Why do you have to wiggle like that in front of the audience here? Now, Renee,
yes.
You are a mud wrestler, correct?
That's correct.
And you've been on the air before.
Uh-huh.
Now, I understand that you called my office a week or so ago, and you said to my people that you were angry at me and that you wanted to challenge me, and you challenged my credibility. Now, what are you talking about? What kind of a challenge, and why do you challenge my credibility?
Well, Wally, I think that the problem is you are always condemning us for what we do, but you've never seen it before.
I've never seen what before?
You've never seen wrestling?
What are you talking about?
You've never seen wrestling before, female hot oil wrestling or mud wrestling.
Well, listen, I don't have to see it to condemn it. It's scummy, isn't it? Why should I have to see it? I know all about it. I've heard about it. I know what you do in those stupid mud pits and everything.
Have you seen it?
I don't have to see it, and I'm never going to see it, but I still say it's ridiculous and should be banned. What do you think?
Well, if there was a chance, which I doubt it because I don't think you have it in you, I would like to challenge you. I would love to wrestle you, but I think I'd break every bone in your body. And the worst part...
Hey.
I think the worst part
hold on. I think we had a female impersonator here.
Would you like me to prove it?
No, thank you.
Okay,
No, thank you. So you say that I have no credibility because I haven't seen mud wrestling?
You've never seen it, so you cannot... Have you... How can you condemn something you've never seen before? It's a sport.
Oh, it's a sport.
Yes, it is. It's a sport.
You're never going to catch me walking into one of those fly traps that has mud wrestling. I'll never go into one of those creepy places, so I'll never have the chance to see it, but I know what it's all about. I'm never going to go into any of those clubs where you perform.
Well, instead of going to one of our places, how about if we bring it here? You can watch it, and if you don't like it, then you can condemn it.
I think it would be ludicrous to have mud wrestling on my show.
I think we should take a vote.
Take a vote?
Take a vote.
With those people? Wally, they want to vote.
I think I know my audience better than you do.
How many of you guys would like us to bring the ladies here to wrestle?
How many of you are opposed to that?
Oh, man. Not very many.
Only the women.
Now, wait a minute.
Wally, she won.
Are you really serious? Do you want me all across America to bring these girls in their... We're going to take a commercial break, and I'll think it over. I'll be right back. George, and I can't believe that you people out there want to have mud wrestling. I want to humbly apologize to America, to all across America, but my audience made me do this. But I want you to know, even before we see this degrading thing, I am against it.
You know what, Wally?
Yes.
Do you mind if I get a little closer and see? Do you mind if I get a little closer and see if your lips move when you talk?
Oh, come on.
I mean, seriously, this guy talks out his rear end. He doesn't know what he's saying.
All right, now listen. We're going to see this vulgar exhibition, and then, but you people at home will know what I'm talking about. When you see what's going to happen in the studio, you'll know why female mud wrestling should be outlawed.
Can I say one thing before we start?
Hold it. Yes, what?
We do private parties. We bring this out to bachelor parties, birthday parties, and we are for hire to nightclubs, and our phone number is 638-0315.
Wait a minute.
638-0315.
You don't give... There are no commercials on this program.
Well, sweetheart, I just did a commercial, didn't I?
All right, let's get on with this degrading thing.
You guys ready? Yeah!
Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to bring out my first one. This is our referee, Valerie. And that's Sandy. And that's Kim.
All right, what's going to happen now?
Okay.
Hold it.
I need to explain.
Hold it. Go ahead. Hold it.
I need to explain what's going to happen now, okay? The girl in the pink, her name is Kim, and this is Sandra. Ladies, I need you to get on your knees, please. Now, the ladies must remain on the knee position. Hurry up, Brett. We have a male referee and a female referee. Okay. They are getting oiled down and prepared for the show.
NW40.
That's right. Okay, ladies must stay in their corner until the referee blows the whistle. Now, the pins determine who the winner is going to be. Usually we have the audience scream out the favorite, so this is Sandra, and that is Kim. Kim! Are you ready for round number one? At the sound of the referee's whistle, we're going to start round number one. Ladies, wrestle. Come on, ladies. Referee, is that a pin? It's a pin. It's a pin for Sandra. It's one pin for Sandra and nothing for Kim so far.
That's it.